Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmerced.com, and I just want to talk a little bit about theory versus practical. A lot of people spend a lot of time talking about libertarian theory, and then they get criticized by people who focus on sort of practical policy and whatnot for being too theoretical. But then people who are practical get criticized, people who are theoretical, by having such a complex message that you lose sight of the underlying theory and moral framework and whatnot. Both are important, okay? Theory plays a role in helping sort of form your ideal. The practical helps you form a plan on how you get there, step by step. An example I'd like to use, and I use for a lot of, is just the idea of an ideal body. Okay, so we all have this sort of image. I can imagine sort of at my peak health, I would look such, my muscles would be look such, my body fat would be up to a certain minimum. This is this ideal self. Okay. Essentially a utopian self. Like if I did everything perfect, this is what I would look like. Okay? Now, am I deluded in imagining that, just and thinking that is ideal, even if it may be hard or near impossible to attain? No. It gives me a direction. Okay? Because I have an idea of what my ideal self looks like, I can take practical steps towards that ideal, change my eating habits, change my exercise habits, etc., to move closer to that ideal because I have a vision of where I'm going. Okay, so to me, when people talk about like sort of like the most utopian libertarian visions per se, sort of like the stateless societies and something like that, regardless of how attainable you think it is, I think it's practical to imagine and think about, because it helps. It's kind of like imagining your perfect body. You may not have the discipline to eat what you need to eat and exercise what you need to eat for that perfect body, but it gives you an idea of where you're going so you can make the decisions and put the things in place to move in that direction, and you'll be better off for it. Okay? Same things with society. If you have that image of that society that can function with less or no government, it helps you imagine the kind of institutions, systems of governance, things that need to be in place for that to even be a possibility, and helps you imagine the practical steps to move in that direction. Okay? So basically, you do need to think about those practical short-run steps that move you in that direction, that make you closer to that vision. Okay? But it doesn't necessarily mean that these two things are separate. So the idea is that, so the bottom line is your end goal, what you imagine as where you're running towards doesn't have to be what you think is the most plausible endpoint. It can be utopian. Your image of where you're going should be utopian. And then that doesn't go just for your view of society, but for yourself. You should be imagining in your own life sort of the most fabulous possible life you can live and work towards it. You may not get there, but you will get further because you imagined the utopia. You imagine you at your best career, at your most wealthy, at your most healthy. Same thing goes for society. Okay, so to me, that's what the function of theory is. Theory allows you to identify the perfection. Once you identify perfection, you can work towards it. You may never reach it. Nothing's perfect. Nothing's ever perfect. But if you don't have an idea of what is perfection, it's hard to get closer to it. So I do think there's a theoretical consistency that I do pay lip service to when it comes to things like a stateless society, like sort of more Rothbardian or pure free market vision of society that to me is theoretically elegant, that there's a sort of perfection and elegance too. Now, do I imagine that it's possible or get there? I don't concern myself with that. I concern myself with determining what are the practical steps to get there. In the same way, I imagine my perfect career, my perfect health, and I take practical steps to move in that direction. But if I imagine my most realistic career, the steps I'll take may be different, and I may end up falling short of even that most realistic career. So the point is, what I'm saying is having big goals and big visions can serve a very practical purpose in allowing you to move practically further. So my name is Alex Merced from alexmerced.com. Hopefully you guys found this video interesting. Share it with your friends. Leave a comment. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like the Facebook page. And thank you very much. And thank you guys for everyone who asked me questions, for people who message me and say that they like the videos. It means a lot. And subscribe to the podcast over there on iTunes. Leave reviews for the podcast. For those who have, that's amazing. Thank you very much. And just keep getting the word out there. Again, I'm doing this because I want people to be able to think more clearer about these things, communicate about them clearer, and improve the productivity of conversations, not just amongst each other, but with people who are maybe new to these ideas. So my name is Alex Merced from alexmerced.com. Have a great day and enjoy.